What's up, everybody? This is VisitJoan, and yes, I owe you guys an explanation as to what is going on. But before that, I need to apologize for this build maybe being a little bit more sloppy than usual, and I just want to say this is not normally the level of content on my channel. If you find it a little too sloppy or a little too jumpy or something like that, it's just that I was building this while I was dealing with some mental health issues, and it's a little bit more, I had to do this in more, more sittings than what it usually is. I usually do, or what, oh my goodness, I really should quit this. See, I would, but this is when I have the opportunity to do at least some of this voiceover, so I'm going to be doing it now. Anyway, you guys, I just want to point out that if you're new to my channel, this is not usually what happens. I've just been having a lot of trouble lately, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first off, I want to kind of explain what I am doing here. I am building a house based on this one Polly Pocket toy, again, because this is a childhood memories build. And at first, I did have, this one planned on a 64 by 64 lot. And it was big, and it had a lot of bedrooms, so I was planning it for a bigger family. But then I realized, whenever I build things on these larger lots, and even sometimes when I build them on smaller ones, the gameplay is so laggy, and I want these buildings to be functional as well as good looking. So just the 64 by 64 lot kind of intimidated me for that reason, and I didn't want to do it. So I redesigned it. I tried to, and I decided, what, I'm just going to scrap it and do something else entirely. So here we are. Now, I started building this in Evergreen Harbor, but as you will notice later in the video, I do move to Del Sol Valley just because it fits the aesthetic of Del Sol Valley a lot better. And it was a bigger lot. I would think it was like a 50 by 40 lot, so I was able to put like a pool, and it works just fine on that lot. See, this is a much smaller version of that house that I was originally going to do. But anyway, as for the toy this is based on, I do have a picture of it. I'm going to put it on the video right here. This was not a toy I had as a kid, so I can't really show it to you. However, I will leave a link to a video touring it in the description below if I remember, and hopefully I will. So anyway, I thought this was a cool style of a house, and I did go online, and I did look at a couple of things, and I kind of basically scrapped that out of the water because that's when, before Eco Lifestyle came out, or about when Eco Lifestyle was, announced, because, looked at the picture, I think I got this photo on, like, the 2nd of May, so Eco Lifestyle was announced about, like, 4 or 5 days later, or something like that, and I went on a building break specifically to avoid burnout. So, yeah, I didn't get around to finishing it, but now I have. It was something that I had to do while I was just feeling, and that's the thing, during this build, I was just feeling extremely unmotivated, and not just to build, just to do anything besides just sit around and just, like, watch the Clone Wars, which I was kind of binging, and other things like that. I just kind of wanted to sit around there and play Mario Kart and do nothing, and that was just really, really bothersome because, well, here's the thing. This is what gives my life meaning, and if that's gone, I really don't know what I'm going to do. It was really worrisome. But anyway, I did some precautions. I kind of isolated out a cause. Maybe I just got so fed up, and I'm not going to go into too much detail of it, but I think I have now spotted the problem, and so hopefully it won't be a problem again. Now, within about an hour, 2 hours of doing that maybe, I just felt so much better just immediately. Like, I don't know how the heck that is even possible, but I went from basically sleeping, not wanting to get out of bed, to wanting to actually do something, and so yeah, I had this house finished by then, but I did start editing it last night, and I did finish editing it this morning. So you have a full build that you can watch now, and I don't know, I may go back to my regular schedule. I may not. We'll just see how things feel for a couple of days, but I did do an upload today. It is uploading as we speak, and just because I was feeling better, and I kind of wanted to celebrate that, and it was a video that I had done months ago, but I just never got time to put it up between all the other stuff that was going on. So, yeah, that is what has been happening to me recently. Now, this house is built for a family of 5, the Screw Day family, and it was actually based off of a toy I had It was this little squirrel family, and they lived in a little, whatchamacallit, it was like a jelly jar kind of thing. And so I thought wouldn't it be funny if I created them as Sims? So this family is a mom and a dad, and then a teenage son, and then two girls, a child and a toddler. So the teenage son actually has his room downstairs because I figured he'd want his own space and kind of away from everybody else. Although that kind of is a double-edged sword because it might be away from everybody else's bedrooms. But when you think about it, I have a bedroom that is on the same level as the living room of my house. And it is not something I'd want to give to anybody. Trust me, it is annoying. It's like there's the living room, and then my office, and then my bedroom. And I can hear the TV going on. And mostly of what the TV is going on is these days talking about, oh my gosh, there's a pandemic, everybody's getting sick, and this is horrible because their cases are spiking, and it's like, I really don't want to listen to that while I'm trying to do work, and oh my goodness, no, not going to happen. So I usually have to keep the door closed, and I usually, have to put something else on YouTube, probably knock out a couple videos on my watch later list. And I also can't do anything Trouble in Paradise or That Fateful Night related when my mom is home, because when my mom's home, the TV is on, and when the TV is on, something triggering could come up, and that's no good, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, that's no good. So yeah, his space is below everyone else's, but it's just also kind of too close to everyone else's, if you know what I mean. But I figured that would be the perfect place to put his bedroom, because it's kind of like in his own little world, or sort of. It's kind of not, but it's disguised as it, so who the heck knows what that's going on over there. I think he kind of likes it being away from everybody else, and he has his own little domain, because right next to it is a bathroom, which you don't see me do in this video, and then after that is the laundry room, which, I could have flipped them all around and made that the laundry room his bedroom, but I don't know. I just don't think it would have been a kind of a bad choice either way, so he's happy with it, though. That's all that matters. But the two girls' rooms are upstairs along with the master bedroom for the parents. There's also a little outdoor dining area under a glass roof, and that was there in the toy as well. As also as an outdoor bar, which I am working on at the moment, and a pool, basketball hoop, which I won't put in until later, but I also have like a little slip and slide thing, and just some stuff, some swing set, and some little, areas like a hot tub, and for, the parents to chill out in, or the teen to have maybe a makeout session or something like that. You know how that goes. But anyway, here I am doing the driveway, which is always really just kind of difficult to do because I can't just reach in the menu and pull out a car, and I'm not really complaining because I can't drive. So it's actually kind of refreshing for me to see a place where, nobody drives anywhere, because then I could actually go places if I had people to go with. Yeah, we're not going to get into that rant right now, because then that's just going to go into a whole rant about people doing horrible things to me, and then we're going to bring up what happened in November, and nobody wants to hear about that anymore, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And right there should have been a couple of transitions. I need to go back and put those in. Hello everybody, I'm back. It is actually a few days since I last recorded this because, well, after a while, I just didn't get the opportunity to record, and yesterday, they were hauling a tree off from the neighbors across the street, and then the Nifty Knitting Pack came out. So that's an interesting thing that was going on. We finally get the Nifty Knitting Pack, and I could go into, all the details of the voting, but I'm not going to. This was my first community stuff pack. I wasn't really active in the Sims community or playing The Sims all that much when Laundry Day came out, although I think I did participate in the vote for the name, and really, I just remember when Laundry Day, it was announced that the stuff pack was going to be called Laundry Day. I was just sitting there thinking, really? Laundry Day? Couldn't you all chosen have something better? No, not on you if you actually decided you wanted to call it Laundry Day. I don't have a problem with it now. It was just then I was like, really? But again, I had no idea. Apparently it was supposed to be an eco pack, and well, they made that an expansion pack instead. So right here you are seeing me do the master bathroom. It is the only bathroom I do on camera as usual, and that is mostly because bathrooms, they're all the same, okay? Bathrooms, they just, oh my goodness. bathrooms are really just kind of annoying to me because, you know, you just do the same thing kind of over and over again. It's just like, what is it? It's a bathroom. There's like nothing all that special about it. So I always do the bathrooms first. And then I always do the kitchen first because after, you know, I move, well, when I used to play, back when I started playing The Sims 4, I would always move the family in and then start building. So, you know, when I would do the kitchen, I would always have to, those are the most expensive objects in the entire house, especially if you go for the appliances that don't break, which are kind of worth it in the long run because nobody wants to deal with a broken refrigerator. Trust me, I would know. But they're really expensive, and so I would put in the objects because then to make sure that I had enough money, and so I wouldn't get stuck with my sibs getting a really extremely cheap refrigerator. So Nifty Knitting, it's releasing on the 28th of July. I don't know if this video is going to be out by the time that happens. It may not. If it doesn't, you are probably not going to be seeing this video for a while. And that means I probably should put it up soon because I have some explaining that I have done in this video, as you can, if you know, you've heard me do, and all this other wonderful stuff. What's interesting to me is how they've pretty much moved up the timeline a couple of weeks from like last year, because I know last year the stuff pack released on August 13, and now we're doing a really late July release. So I wonder, you know, why they decided to do that. Was that because Eco Lifestyle actually released about like 3 weeks before the time period that Island Living released or something like that? I wonder, you know, kind of why they did that, because when you think about what happened in 2019, Strangerville was released in February, but Tiny Living was released in January. I don't know if that had something to do with a stuff pack and a game pack. And then there are people. Now, does it annoy anybody else when people do this? But there were people that were looking like really, like honestly, like way too deep into the freaking trailer. And at the end, there's like Grandma sitting in a rocking chair, reminiscing about the good old days. And she's seeing, you know, a baby in front of a dog that's waving at the dog. And then she's seeing somebody sled or something. But, yeah, people were like taking this like, oh my gosh, we're getting better babies. Oh my gosh, we're going to be able to knit baby onesies. That means we're getting better babies. Oh my gosh, she's seeing us sledding. Maybe that's a hint for another pack. And honestly, I just don't like it when people take these hints. Like they go, I honestly think they're going like way too far. Like they want to see stuff, so they, you know, they take every little opportunity they can. Like that was the main problem I had with the ending of The Legend of Korra. Now, with the ending of that, I did not have a problem with the two characters ending up together. That was not an issue. The issue for me was when people were saying about it, it felt like that is what they were doing, that they were taking every little, you know, detail and saying, oh my goodness, this means that we were right this whole time. Especially a pairing that I just felt was just kind of out there, but it ended up being canon. You know, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. If it ends up being canon, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not a shipping person at all. But to me, it just felt like before they actually confirmed it, it felt like, oh my goodness. It felt like, sorry about that. I just was keeping my hands busy while I was recording and actually managed to take apart the photo scanner. Well, not take it apart, but apparently there was the scan part that just like hinges off for some reason. I didn't even know that was there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It just felt like the same thing that was going on. People are just reading way too much into that in this kitchen. It's funny. I forgot a dishwasher. That's how scatterbrained I was when I was doing this build, guys. I forgot to put a dishwasher in the kitchen. But anyway, I feel like that's what people were, you know, doing, was putting like way too much into it. And I don't know, I mean, they could have put a hint in there. It could have been a hint. I'm not going to say that it wasn't a hint because of what happened with The Legend of Korra, obviously. But, because before that happened, like, my personal experience is that they never, like, bowed down to the shippers or anything. Especially, like, the Yaoi or Yuri shippers. It was just them living out their little, you know, fantasies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you want to ship two characters, regardless of what gender they are, then go ahead. But if, you know, I mean, they just normally don't do stuff like that when it comes to, the show, and they did for The Legend of Korra. Well, I don't know if they kind of knew about the whole shipping thing. It's just that's what they wanted to do. The creators wanted to do, and, you know, like I said, I'm fine with it. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. It's their show. They can do what they want. But after, you know, that happened, I just was open a little bit more to people taking things like way too seriously, which I still think it is, because I don't know, like in The Sims, I haven't seen something like that, except for like the no mermaid sign for the get together diving board, which I did put out in this pool, by the way. So it's not completely unrelated here. But it's just like but what was the gap between get together and island living? Like 3 years? Like, I don't know. Did they have that planned, or did they, I don't know. Did they always have planned to bring mermaids to The Sims 4? Who the heck knows? But anyway, people, I don't know. I'm not gonna, I don't think it's a hint. It could be. I'm open to that, but I really just don't think it's any kind of a hint or anything. And especially when it came to the babies, like the Sim Gurus have specifically said we're not freeing the babies in this patch or update. So it may happen in the future. Like, for my feeling about the babies is that it's not the thing I want to see the most. I mean, I know people want that. I mean, I even have a friend that said herself, babies in The Sims 4 are trash. And you know what? You have a right to that opinion. But for me, it's like, there's stuff I'd like to see more, like, teenagers. And I know that there was a game survey a while ago that talked about, a winter pack and all kinds of winter sports, which does kind of lead to think that maybe we are getting a winter vacation pack or some kind of winter activities pack, which, again, we can ask, why didn't this come in seasons? But I'm not going to get into that whole kind of lecture right now because, well, I'm really lucky in the fact that I don't really have to be like conscious about how much money I spend on Sims packs. I'm thankful for that, by the way. But so to me, as long as they add it in the game, it doesn't really matter how, as long as we get it somehow. But I understand that, packs cost money and not everybody has the luxury that I do. And I, understand that it would be frustrating to pay for something that probably should have came in something that we paid a lot more for, like we shouldn't pay an extra $20 for something that should have come in a $40 expansion pack. I mean, I completely get that. It's not that big of an issue for me, but for some people it really is. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that. I'd be okay with a winter vacation pack, honestly. I could probably do a music video with it or something like that. At first I really didn't know what I would do, and then I'm thinking, you know what, I could just make a music video if I didn't really know what else to do. I mean, it was kind of different for Nifty Knitting, but anyway, I'm probably just going to build with the objects, but who the heck knows? I won't know until that comes out in a couple of weeks. As for the game pack, I would like it to be, I'd like it to honestly be like a teen-themed game pack. I mean, okay, yeah, I'd love to see Generations for The Sims 4, but I honestly don't think a whole Generations-themed expansion pack is going to happen, because I don't remember who it was, but the Sim Guru said that they'd rather add it, like, little bits than basically, like, the whole pack like they did in The Sims 3. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I would love to see a teen pack. Again, I'm going back to the surveys, but when they said, what kind of life stage would you like to add more for, they didn't have teens in there, so maybe that means they're already planning to add more for teens. And I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it until it happens, but teens are just mini adults that just go to high school. That's it. I'd really like to see something more unique about that period of a Sim's life, because it is a unique period in a Sim's life, and in a person's life too. But anyway, that would be, the one thing I'd really love to see, and I actually said that on Simmer's Digest. And funny story, I was just building, it wasn't this house, it was like another house. I don't even remember what house it was. But I'm just building there, and I'm just listening to the podcast, and all of a sudden I hear, VisitJoan called in this week, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Wait, are you serious? Am I the only person that answered this question? What? But, there was my call in, and there was my answer, and then I did get a cool shout out, which was really neat. I've been kind of waiting for that for a little bit, so not that anybody owes me a shout out by any means, but, it was kind of nice to be, recognized, because that doesn't happen a lot. You guys know what I mean, but those are my guesses as to what the game pack is going to be, what it's probably going to be, and what I would personally love to see. But the more interesting thing that I don't know is, when is this game pack going to come out? Is it going to come out in, like, late August? Or, because I know the last one came out October 10th. Or not the last, oh yeah, that was the last game pack. So last year, it came out October 10th. So they were able to say, okay, yeah, it's coming out in the fall, which September 10th. Oh my goodness, I was thinking October, and I was saying September. See, I when I went to the bathroom, I was thinking, this is probably going to be the last pack that releases in my 20s. And for some reason, my head skipped ahead to the last day of my 20s. Which is really sad in its own right, but you know what, I've kind of come to the realization that my 20s are all but over, and so I guess I really just need to focus on starting on what am I going to do with my 30s, But anyway, So I wonder when that game pack is going to release. Is it going to release maybe like late August if they're doing a couple weeks ahead? And in that case, it'll probably still be in the summer. So, and if that happens, are they going to do one in November again? Is it going to be the same time when it's probably not going to be, a Pokemon game comes out this year. It's probably going to be the Crown Tundra, which probably will release in November sometime because they did say on Amazon like November 30, but that's because it's probably going to release in November, but we don't have confirmation of the exact date yet. If that's the case, and if it doesn't release, like on the same day, maybe I could do NaNoWriMo this year. I don't know. I have no idea what I would do. That's still quite a ways off, but again, oh my goodness. See, again, I'm not thinking about the rest of my 20s. I'm not thinking about in my 30s. So that's just like kind of, but I wonder what they're going to do about that, or if they're going to keep the same release schedule, or what the heck is going on. Because, I don't know, I mean, 2008 to 2000, no, not 2008, oh my goodness, because Sims 2 was 1 year, Sims 3 was the next year. 2018 to 2019, there's the decade, okay. 2018 to 2019 was kind of, the releases were all similar, except for, the stuff packs, because the whole My First Pet stuff debacle. Again, not going to talk about that right now. But 2020 has kind of been uniquely different, and I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that a lot of us are still, like, quarantined right now, or at least we should be. But again, I'm not going to get political on all of this, and it really shouldn't even be political anyway. But yeah, that's a long story I'm not going to talk about on YouTube. So I really don't know. I mean, you could say it's because of the pandemic, but I really don't think that's why. I think that probably would have happened anyway, because if that was the case, wouldn't they push the dates off instead of moving them up? Like, honestly, I really don't think that would, be the result of that. But anyway, huge compliment to the Sim Gurus and the whole staff for being able to, work on this while they're in their home offices, because I know that's got to be a really big change. Like, I wouldn't know anything about that because I don't work for the Sims team. But doing any kind of work when you got kids and pets begging for attention all the time has to be a little bit more stressful, I would feel. So, yeah, congrats to you guys, and thank you for giving us these amazing packs, and they're actually improving them, so that's pretty good. And it doesn't seem like it affected release dates at all, although I don't know when they plan the release dates or when they finalize them. And wow, this has been a pretty long talk about release dates, if you can believe that. Like, that is not the direction I expected this voiceover to go at all. Like, actually, I didn't even expect it to go in the direction. I just started talking, and I just kept talking, and I didn't even really have, I didn't even know where this voiceover was going until I started talking. So, that's really what happens a lot. Do you guys, plan your voiceovers, or do you, have, absolutely no idea what you're doing until you do it like I do? So, yeah. Right now, we are doing the toddler's room, and I'm going to, in 2 seconds, move over to the other girl's room. Now, this other girl, I put a lot of cat stuff in there, maybe because I had a feeling that maybe she really likes cats, but maybe one of her family members is allergic, and so they can't get a cat, so she just collects cat things instead. Like, you saw me put that big stuffed cat in the toddler's room, and later I will switch it out for a little stuffed bear and put the stuffed cat in this girl's room. But this is the last room in the house I did furnish, and was kind of just striving to get this thing done at this point, but I didn't want to, break on all the quality or anything like that. So I kind of had an idea of what I was going to do. I really wanted to put that room divider in and have a little seating area and then a desk, because I put desks in every kid's room. It's kind of like a formula for kids' rooms, and I really love doing kids' rooms, especially the little girls' rooms. But of course, these rooms can be for anybody. If you want this room to be for a boy that loves pink, go ahead. I don't really care. But this is what I imagine this girl would have. See, I put a little cat on the desk there, and I put, a bunch of toys in there, a koala bear, and oh my goodness, I'm doing it again. This little table I wanted to put in there, but I couldn't quite figure out where to put it and where to put the little seating area and stuff like that. And so that was kind of a problem with this room, was that I was trying to figure out where I was going to put everything. But I finally figured it out, and I do think it turned out pretty well. I think the whole house turned out pretty well, except for some small details. I did leave the hallways empty just because there were no walls that I could use, and because most of the walls were archways, and I couldn't put stuff against the walls, and I couldn't put tables there without it getting in the way of something else. That's a really, really poor way to design a house when you have people bumping into stuff whenever you you know, whenever they go through a hallway or through an archway or something like that, you kind of need that space to be clear. So that's why the hall is kind of clear. I did kind of plan to have more family photos than I actually do. And so this video is wrapping up. This house is available on the gallery. I did put it up before I made some changes, and I think before I put some of the family photos in. So it should be CC free. I'm not exactly 100% sure about that, but that's the way it is. Anyway, you guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and a comment. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can always follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at VisitJoan and Twitter at VisitJoanVideos, and those will be a much more reliable places for me to update you on what the heck is going on, because it's been a roller coaster. But sit back, relax, enjoy the screenshots, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody! Hey, what's up, everybody? This is VisitJoan, and yes, I owe you guys an explanation as to what is going on. But before that, I need to apologize for this build maybe being a little bit more sloppy than usual, and I just want to say this is not normally the level of content on my channel. If you find it a little too sloppy or a little too jumpy or something like that, it's just that I was building this while I was dealing with some mental health issues, and it's a little bit more, you know, I had to do this in more, more sittings than what it usually is. I usually do, or what? Oh my goodness, I really should quit this. See, I would, but this is when I have the opportunity to do at least some of this voiceover, so I'm going to be doing it now. Anyway, you guys, I just want to point out that if you're new to my channel, this is not usually what happens. I've just been having a lot of trouble lately, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first off, I want to kind of explain what I am doing here. I am building a house based on this one Polly Pocket toy, again, because this is a childhood memories build. And at first, I did have, this one planned on a 64 by 64 lot. And it was big, and it had a lot of bedrooms because I was planning it for a bigger family. But then I realized, whenever I build things on these larger lots, and even sometimes when I build them on smaller ones, the gameplay is so laggy. And I want these buildings to be functional as well as good looking. So just the 64 by 64 lot kind of intimidated me for that reason, and I didn't want to do it. So I redesigned it, I tried to, and I decided, I'm just going to scrap it and do something else entirely. So here we are. Now I started building this in Evergreen Harbor, but as you will notice later in the video, I do move to Del Sol Valley just because it fits the aesthetic of Del Sol Valley a lot better. And it was a bigger lot. I would think it was like a 50 by 40 lot, so I was able to put like a pool. And it works just fine on that lot. See, this is a much smaller version of that house that I was originally going to do. But anyway, as for the toy this is based on, I do have a picture of it. I'm going to put it on the video right here. This was not a toy I had as a kid, so I can't really show it to you. However, I will leave a link to a video touring it in the description below if I remember. And hopefully I will. So anyway,